The National Sugar Development Council says if the right policies are in place, Nigeria has the potential to become a leading global exporter of sugar. In an exclusive interview with Latif Busari, CNBC Africa's Umu Ibrahim discussed investments in the country's sugar industry.
The master plan is a roadmap that was approved by the federal government of Nigeria, whose main objective is to help Nigeria achieve self-sufficiency over the 10-year plan period. It's a plan that combines a number of policy framework, protective measures, incentives, and the like, incentives to attract investors into the sector, and protective measures to keep them within the industry. Because without the two, in fact, it was noticed that for over 30-40 years, the sugar sector in Nigeria was not able to attract any fresh investment if you discount the investment in refineries in Lagos. But as to investment in sugarcane to sugar production, the industry was not able to attract any for over 30-40 years. And when we studied what could be responsible, it's probably because there is even no protection for even the little by way of sugar industry that we have. Nigeria was an all-commerce game for all manner of sugar imports. And so long as you allow free importation of sugar, you're going to depress the local market. It's not the producers, the local producers are not going to be able to compete with the cheap sugar coming from outside. So the sugar master came up with a framework, one, to determine exactly what quantity of sugar do we consume. And if you know what we consume now, what we will be consuming in the next 10 years. We came up with the figure that Nigeria will need about 1.8 million metric tons of sugar by the year 2023. Okay, then how do we then produce this quantity of sugar? The master plan estimated that we will need about 28 sugar factories of varying capacities. We will need to bring about 250,000 hectares of land under cane cultivation. We will need to employ about 114,000 people, both seasonal and permanent, for seasonal and permanent employment, to work on the fields and in the factories to be able to produce this amount of sugar. We will need about $3.1 billion of investment, to get Nigeria to be able to produce the sugar it is going to require. So then the next question is, government doesn't have the fund, so where do we get these funds to do this? And that is where the idea is that the government should provide the enabling environment that will attract investments and also protect such investment.
How would you describe the current investment climate in the country's sugar industry?
I think it's very, very investment friendly, or very, very investor friendly. We have a number of incentives in the master plan. One, for those who want to invest in the Nigerian sugar industry, the moment you come in, all the machineries that you are going to require, both on the field and in the factory, are going to come in at zero duty. Two, if you invest in any of the public infrastructure, which ordinarily government should provide, you get a 30% tax rebate on that one. Three, government encourages that the local people around sugar estates be allowed the opportunity to also produce cane that will service the mills. The government, through National Sugar Development Council, will part fund the operations of the agro scheme, by providing collaterals up to 50%.
How much investment would you say we have currently in the country's sugar industry?
Well, since the launch of the master plan, the industry had attracted over 500 billion naira investments into the sector, but it's an ongoing concern. We continue to do more, but we believe that we will even be able to do much more better if the industry itself can have access to an intervention fund, which will encourage investors, give them that comfort that we want to put our money down. The government of Nigeria is also putting something down to ensure that this whole project succeeds.
Lateef Busari, Executive Secretary at the Nigeria's National Sugar Development Council.
CNBC Africa, business news, live data and analysis from across the African continent.